Welcome to welcome to India, first of all.
Thanks.
I think we need to set some context for people who are watching this because the kind of podcast that we do. This is not a typical podcast that we've done. This is like a first for us as well. So if you were to introduce yourself to all of India's like 18 to 35-year-old age bracket, how would you do it?
Yeah. That I have nighttime erections better than an average 18-year-old.
I think
that sums it up.
That's all people care about.
Yeah, it's the boner thing, right? Like people I've seen a lot of your stuff and a lot of people are really into. And I thought it was a bit weird that that's the thing that they care about the most.
Yeah. I mean, if you talk about health, like sleep and nutrition, no one cares.
Yeah.
You talk about boners, everyone cares.
They're all yours.
All theirs.
Yep.
And so it's like, honestly, it's the path to get people to care about their health. So like we've just figured out, like, how do you talk about this stuff that people actually care? And boners happens to be something people care about.
Right. But like, how did you get to making people think about boners? Like, where is all of this coming from?
It was an accident. So I was doing this other therapy. I was sitting on this thing to like rebuild my muscles so I wouldn't go to the bathroom at night. And then I started having all these nighttime erections. Like every time I woke up, I was erect. And I was like, why is this happening? And so I went to my team and I was like, guys, like why do people have erections at night? Like what's happening? And so we did all this research on the scientific literature and we found it's actually a really important biomarker for health. That when you're 18, you have on average 2 hours and 30 minutes of nighttime erections. You have like 3 to 5 erections for a total of 2 hours and 30 minutes. A healthy 18-year-old. By the time you're 70, it's 50 minutes. So it declines with age. So as you age and get less, vital in your sexual function, it decreases. And so we said, okay. So I asked my team, like, what would it take for me to have the most quantified penis in the whole world? Like what do you do?
Like you want the best
The
one
best
there
in
is.
the biz.
The best penis. Like, how do you get the best penis? And so we looked at all the scientific literature and we said, okay, here's all the ways you can measure penis function. And so, for example, one way was you take an ultrasound machine and you get erect and you measure the blood flow in the penis.
Right.
The more blood flow, the better, your erections, the harder you are. And so as you age, you have less blood flow, you can't get as hard. And so we did all these tests and so then I quantified the age of my penis. Then we said, okay, now how do you make it better? And so we did a few therapies, and then my best time was 2 hours and 59 minutes.
That's the length of the Titanic movie, by the way.
That's something. Who was doing the nighttime erection checks? Like when you
Oh, I should have brought one.
It's good father-son bonding.
It's an activity.
Yeah.
He's a good son.
Yeah.
What's your personal best?
I actually haven't measured it yet, but
Okay.
I'm going to start measuring it. I think it's going to be a fun competition between us. Like, who's erect longer?
But so you've done this and you just spoke about it as if it's something that people just do, but it's not. It's like really, like you've gone in deep into making yourself the best possible version of a human being, right?
That's right.
In terms of your like physical body, right? So why are you doing this and where did all of this start? Because this is not normal for like us or just a lot of people who are getting to know you and your work. Like where did all of this start?
Right. Before we get into that, there's a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
So hit that button and go down. Yeah. Oh, guys, that's amazing. Fire. Look at this. Great.
Oh,
Do you want to address what I was
did you-
yeah,
talking
what,
about?
so for people, I don't know if people can see that on camera.
I'll get a shot of it.
You just walked in with an air purifier and you take it everywhere, like you
Yes.
said. So that's another thing which is like, what is that? Where is that coming from?
Yeah, her name is Deborah, by the way.
Oh, she has a name.
Yeah, he has a name.
she goes everywhere.
Yeah, sleeps with her. He does everything with her. Yeah, she's a good companion.
Yeah.
What, are we down to 30? Is that the...
About 30-ish, PM 2.5.
Okay.
We started at what, 64?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Around 69.
Okay, so...
Yeah, it's still dropping.
Still going down.
So what exactly does it do for those who...
Yeah,
Don't
so
know.
in the air,
Mhm.
you have you have pollution in various forms,
Okay.
and then they get in your body. You breathe it in, it gets through your skin, and they lodge themselves in in your lungs, in your tissue, in your brain. They're very hard to get rid of, and so they cause all kinds of havoc in the body.
Okay.
And so you just don't want, it's like toxins in food, toxins in air. You just don't want to consume toxins. And
Right.
so the air is a particular source here. So like we were saying, it's like roughly, outside today, it's roughly equal to 10 cigarettes per day to be in the air, that air.
Yeah, that's why I've never felt the need to smoke. Living here. Like, I hate cigarettes. Everyone else loves it, and I never got it. I think that's probably why.
Yeah, like you basically smoke by being in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're already at least 10 cigarettes down, right?
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
Just
yeah.
not being here.
Yes, yeah, everyone's a chain smoker.
Yeah. But I asked you, where did all of this start, and what do you exactly do? Because I've done a lot of research, but I'm sure a lot of people who are watching have no idea.
Yeah,
So, because
Okay.
like I said, people usually start caring about their health much
Yeah.
later in their life, and our audience is pretty young.
yeah. Okay, so like let's do a historical comparison. Like Magellan, I think it was 1522. He said, "I have this crazy idea. I think the world is round. I think I can sail around the world, and I think I know the passage." Right. So he got a ship, commissioned it, he got finance, got a crew, and they sailed, and they were successful. And so that was crazy. Like, people were worried. Like, they had paintings, like, that he was going to sail off the edge of the earth. People didn't know if there were monsters in other parts of the world. So it was a crazy idea at the time. And so, like, if I ask you guys, like, what is the craziest idea right now that, like, we would pose to ourselves? Like, we look back in Magellan, we're like, of course the world's round. Of course you can sail around the world.
Yeah.
For us right now, like, what is that move? What is the craziest thing we could imagine?
It's probably what you're doing, that you want to never die.
Yeah, that we are the first generation that won't die. Out of all the humans that have ever lived. And so right now that sounds insane. It sounds like not real.
Yeah.
But just like Magellan's time, like every generation, something is impossible until it's not. And then it becomes the norm. And so like this is the question I'm asking society is like, are we the first generation that will not die? Ever.
Right.
Sorry. Are we the first generation in history that will die?
So you started with this idea, and now everything that you're doing is towards that mission, right?
That's right.
Okay. And
Yeah,
how old were you when you started this?
43.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not even, so it's individually, but it's don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't destroy the planet, and align AI with don't die. That
Right.
basically, like when you're giving birth to superintelligence, like a new ideology emerges of how we exist, and it replaces older systems. So
Right.
this is not a vain quest for immortality. It is like, as a species, what do you do when you give birth to superintelligence, and what becomes possible? And so it's really trying to connect all threads happening on planet Earth, like all tech development, all political discussions, all economic efforts, all of our habits and lives. Like, how do you thread together everything into something that makes sense for us as a species?
Yeah. When I was in school, what you just said reminded me of this one thing where our teacher asked us, what is it that you want to do when you grow up? And this one girl from our class said, I want to make this machine that would cure all diseases. And it would let people live forever.
Yeah,
And we were in like the 4th grade.
that's cool.
And she said that, and everyone just obviously immediately thought it was impossible. And now it's like 20 years after, and we're headed towards that
Exactly. It's
within
AI.
20 years.
Yeah, she described AI.
Yeah.
She was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Yes, 4th grader.
Yeah, it was a weird thing to hear, but we were just like, So now you started this when you were 43. How old are you now?
47.
Wow, you look great for 47.
Thanks. Yeah, I have the best biomarkers of anyone in the world. So, like, if health were an Olympic sport, I would be the global.
Michael Phelps of it.
Exactly. I would be the Michael Phelps of it. I would have a gold medal. I have 19 gold medals. Yeah. Like, no one's ever done this before. So, like, it's only, like, others are doing this, but not as much as I am. But yeah, like, I'm legit the #1 person in the entire world.
Ever.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Most humble person.
But like I have to say that because like people like you see someone like Messi who plays soccer and it's like, oh, I understand people who play soccer, there's points, there's position, there's like
Yeah.
they understand.
Yeah.
But when they see something like Talmage or myself, they're just weird. Like they don't understand there's a way to score it. They don't understand it's a competition. They don't understand. So you have to say these things because otherwise people have no idea how to think about it in
It's
their mind.
incomprehensible to
Yeah.
people that how do I even, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, and the thing that you're doing is the extreme, but even on lower levels, people don't like seeing other people focus on their health. Like if you start going to the gym and you're not hanging out with your friends as much, they don't feel happy about it. They start resenting you a bit. They're like, oh, this guy, because it makes you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah.
So now if you're doing all of these things, and also you have the resources to pull off a lot of things that many people can't, so it's obviously going to attract cynicism, and people are going to be like, what is he doing? Like, this is not normal, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that.
Do you find that? Like, how do you?
Yeah, it's also so the reason why it's also probably foreign to people is that it's not gamified, and so a lot of the games that we have in society are how many followers do you have, how much money do you have,
Right.
and then specifically in sports and Olympics, it's can you be the best of the best for humans. And so recently he made what are called the Rejuvenation Olympics, and so you take certain biomarkers, and the most important one is your speed of aging. So how much you biologically age for every chronological year that you age. And the goal is to push the number down as far as possible. And so he's basically one of the best in the world. And when you look at it through that sense, that he's a professional rejuvenation athlete, you can understand why he puts so much effort into this. Similar to how LeBron James spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on his body and physique every year. He's doing the same thing, but for anti-aging. So it's just a reframing. And as soon as you get more humans to play this game, it's going to become the new thing. Everyone loves games.
Yeah.
It's just the period of awkward, what do I label this as? It's foreign, but soon it'll start catching traction. It'll become cool. And you're going to start boasting to all your friends of your erections and your pace of aging. Like it's going to be the new shift.
I mean, that's happening to some degree because like with people, a lot of people have started wearing a Whoop, and they post screenshots of their sleep and recovery on their stories, and they brag about it. I got like 80% recovery tonight. So as soon as it starts becoming more accessible, people want to get in on it. And I think our generation more than the older generation, because I think we care more about our health than the previous generation. Like in India, there's so many people our age who are actively trying to convince their parents not to use like vegetable oil, like on a daily basis. Don't use this, don't use that. I heard that this is bad for you, so let's switch to. But I think it's going to take a while for people to start going towards that. Now, you guys have been in India for how long? 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, 2 days.
Have you guys picked up on anything that we do which is like really bad? Except for the air.
The air quality.
That's not in our control. It is, but
I think most things that wouldn't be seen as good health aren't the fault of people, but rather just the inevitable environment and result of industry. And so a lot of the air quality issues or food issues aren't the people's fault. It's just what's happened as a result of the country progressing. And so it's a matter of basically taking stock and saying, hey, this is not good. Like the air quality, you're basically smoking 10 cigarettes a day. We need to fix this. So it's not the people's fault. We just got to fix this at such a large scale. And we're finally beginning to have awareness with data of how serious it is.
Right. Have you guys tried any Indian food yet?
We haven't.
come on, no butter chicken, nothing, no biryani.
We brought all of our food with us. So yeah, like when we started doing this, just like we measure everything. So every supplement we were taking, all the foods we were eating, we sent to third-party labs, and we'd say like, this supplement says it's 1,000 IU of vitamin D. Is that true? Right? Like, I guess.
Yeah.
No.
It's not?
Like most supplements or most things are not what they say they are. And then the food we were testing, most of it is really toxic. It has a lot of environmental toxins, like heavy metals. And so when we started doing this, we're like, this is pretty horrifying that like we can't buy food that is without toxins. And so we built out a global supply chain. We source foods from all over the world. We tested extensively with labs. And so we basically only eat food that we have a third-party lab result that verifies nutritional content and that it's free from toxins. And so otherwise, like when you just go out in the world, you have no idea what you put in your body.
Right.
And so like, and we know like the mantra we've come up with is food is guilty until proven innocent. It's just like once you see the data, like you can't go back. So yeah, we brought all of our food. So it's not that we love Indian food. We would love to eat Indian food. It's just like we have no idea where it's coming from. We don't know what level of toxins are in there. So without knowing that, we just can't do it.
So do you guys get every single thing that you all eat tested before?
Yes.
All of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now how do you get it here?
We had one checked suitcase that was 90 pounds, which is like, I don't know, 40,
Just food for all of it.
40 kilos. Yeah.
Yeah.
That contained what we're going to have for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. But we have this available in the U.S. So people can do like we built this for ourselves, but others
Okay.
now can buy it as well. So we wanted to make it available in India. But yeah, we think it's like the best thing in the entire world for like actual nutritional value and clean. Like no one has the kind of cleanliness we have with the lab results. So yeah, we're very happy. Like we're trying to clean up like a very basic problem for society. Like how do you eat clean food?
Yeah. What is your diet like now? What does this suitcase have?
Yeah. Wanna go through
Yeah,
it?
actually, yeah, some of it is Indian cuisine. So we
Okay.
have a lentil veggie curry where basically you have lentils, you pour boiling water, and it's just ready to made, easy to
Right.
eat. So lentils and then some protein powder, some nuts, some seeds, basically just essential things that we can know with certainty that it'll be clean for us. And then we just figure out how to incorporate it
Yeah.
into the schedule.
Extra virgin olive oil.
That's, yeah.
Yeah, pea and hemp protein, collagen peptides.
It's all vegetarian.
Yeah, blueberries and walnuts. Yeah, it's all plant based.
Yeah,
Right.
the goal is to create, like, because when this project first came out, people thought it was really weird, and they're like, "Who's this crazy guy spending $2 million per year on his body?" And then people were like, "Okay, make it easy for us," and so that was the idea that spurred the business of creating the products. And now the goal is to basically take care of a single person's complete daily caloric need. So everything that you need, you don't have to think about it. You can just say yes, opt in, and you know that you'll have the perfect diet.
Right.
Are you talking about Blueprint?
Yeah.
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 That's I went through it and I found it pretty interesting because, I mean, the premise of Blueprint is that our minds are not the best judge in terms of what our body needs. So with that, can you like tell us more about it? Because I was like taken aback by the entire literature and everything that
Yeah.
came with it.
I love that you see that.
Yeah, of course.
That's cool.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah.
No, but that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
because people eat and they feel good and they think, okay, I ate this and I felt good.
Yeah.
So this was good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how people think.
Yeah.
And when it comes to junk food, you don't feel good after eating
Exactly. Never.
it. Right?
Just while you're eating it.
But
Yeah, I know.
It feels
But then you
great
still
while
eat
you
it.
eat
it's the first couple of bites that feel great and then
Yeah.
you're just like, what have I done to
I
myself?
know. That's
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So like just like when you guys go somewhere, you probably use a navigation app, right?
Yeah.
Like you pull up something and it gives you
Right.
directions you follow. Like it would be insane for you not to use an app.
Yeah.
Or like if you're gonna get out your map and be like, all right, I'm gonna map out the roads.
Yeah.
Like right? That's like silly. It's like incomprehensible. So the same thing we're building is we're building an app for the body's health. Like so in a couple of years time, it's gonna just be insane. Like why would you ever use a map in your brain to map out streets and drive?
Right.
Just use an algorithm. Like it's so
Yeah.
much better at you than doing this. So like it's just a very natural process progression. It's inevitable. Like it's gonna be like primitive technology to use our brains to decide what to do.
Right.
But won't that, if we automate everything, won't that make us a little slower? Do you not feel that? Because evolutionarily we are meant to think. But if everything is automated, do you not feel that that would dumb us down, so as to say in a very generic term?
Yeah, it's like every one of these interventions actually, every one of these innovations actually levels us up. So like
Okay.
when we get automation of like a washer and dryer, right? It's less time you spend washing clothes and more time studying math,
Yeah.
right? And every time when you're no longer paying attention to the map and driving, you can now like think about something else. So these are just like, they level us up so we can use our
Right.
brain for higher order functions.
So what I should be eating isn't something I should be thinking about. Like
Yes.
the app will basically tell me this is what your body needs, not
Yes.
what I feel like eating.
Exactly.
Is that the premise?
Exactly right.
Okay.
To be fair, it's a little annoying to have to decide what to eat every day.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, the goal is basically instead of asking your mind what it wants to eat,
You just feed it.
ask your organs
Yeah.
So if your organs could have a voice, what would they say?
Yeah.
Right. I think that starts, like for me personally, I've started going to the gym properly. I've gotten a trainer and I'm monitoring what I'm eating. I think it starts there where you're thinking about how many calories are you taking in, and then you level up maybe to where you guys are now, where you're
That's
eating very specific kind of food and just the right amount.
Yeah.
Like nothing less, nothing more, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. But now for, let's say, someone like me, if I were to start focusing on what I'm eating properly, this is a bit difficult to switch to, like right at the start. How do you think I should be going about it?
Yeah.
Is measuring calories the first thing that you do, or
Yeah. So I'd say like probably the most important thing is don't make it too complicated. If you get into a place where it's like unsustainable, where you're too restricted or you're counting calories and it's a pain, you're gonna stop.
Yeah.
So find like a right balance where you're like doing just enough, like you're making progress, but kind of baby steps. So you can do one of two things. One is you can start eating incrementally, more foods that are good for you, or you can stop eating foods that are bad for you.
right?
Both are equally as powerful. So if you could say like, all right, let's say fried foods are out. So you just don't eat fried foods anymore.
Is that the worst thing you could eat?
I mean, sugar.
Sugar.
Sugar is the worst one.
Yeah, so
You
just
hear
like,
that, Ali?
yeah, guilty.
I had 3 baklavas yesterday. I don't usually eat too much sugar, but yesterday we got baklavas.
Yeah, how many grams of sugar in that?
I don't know. I didn't
It's a
have to
lot.
measure
It's
it.
a lot.
But it
It's a
was
lot.
pretty sweet.
And
It was very sweet.
he had a glazed donut at night.
Yeah, it was a long day
Oh,
of
so
work.
just to be, yeah. So you probably
Yeah.
had like 100 grams of sugar overall, probably.
Probably, but
Yeah.
it's not a normal thing for me. Like
Yeah.
yesterday was an exception.
Yeah, what happened? Like, what was a celebration?
How'd you feel after as well?
We went out. I was fine. It wasn't.
He
Didn't
woke
do
up
much.
today and he's like, I've got a pimple here.
How did that
I
happen?
wonder where that came from.
Yeah.
I was like,
And it was like the sugar, probably. Yeah.
That's more
So-
than Brian's had in 7
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, Talmage, yeah. I mean, as a kid, you had sugar here and there, but like you haven't had sugar. Like his mom and I had different opinions about how he grew up, which is like also like a thing in the family, right? Like,
right,
Yeah.
right.
sometimes parents have certain habits, and like you were saying, like mom, dad, like please stop
Yeah,
using
yeah.
this or that.
Yeah.
So like family stuff is just complicated. Like people have different opinions, but now like you haven't had sugar in like a while.
Like not at all.
It's not
No.
part of our routine.
Yeah, after a certain point, it becomes more painful to have sugar. So
Damn.
a lot of people ask, if you see a pizza or you see a cookie, are you tempted? And now the thought doesn't even occur to us. Like
Yeah.
that would be so painful to have that.
Yeah.
Why would I have that? So it's more miserable to have it now.
It's like the entire opposite.
Exactly. There's just like a small transition phase where you slowly rewire your reward systems.
So all the sugar that you're getting is from fruits, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, yeah. We also So fruits. Yeah. So basically, the foods we eat are the first meal of the day is broccoli, cauliflower, lentils, garlic, ginger, and hemp seeds. Second meal of the day is like a pudding. It's macadamia, walnuts, flaxseed, pomegranate juice, pea and hemp protein, berries. So
That actually sounds very tasty.
it's delicious.
This one
Yeah.
is, yeah.
it's like an ice cream. It's really
Yeah.
good. It's delicious.
Yeah,
Okay.
most people think it's a dessert when they first try it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Are you sure there's no sugar in this?"
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the pomegranate juice makes it really sweet.
Mhm.
And then the last meal of the day is like some berries, nuts, seeds combination. And so we're plant-based. And like people want to eat meat, fine. Like the whole meat versus plant-based is like a religious war. So we just don't
Yeah.
even enter it. Like
Yeah.
do your thing. Like
So
fine.
meat is okay. Is there a specific reason that you don't have meat in your diet, or it's just
It's really an ethical choice.
Okay.
Where I think we legitimately want to be what we want AI to become. So like when an AI develops and it's like, oh, I'm here. I see you humans. Like, how do you humans treat other forms of intelligence that are less capable than you? And we're like, oh God,
right?
you're using that data point. Like I think like we want to be potentially like thoughtful about how we deal with intelligence, and are we compassionate, or are we brutal?
Right.
So I just think like it's kind of a good move for us as a species. Like we want to probably, be more compassionate.
Okay. Okay. And
But
so
but like, to your point, like on meat, like we don't really talk about it because like the moment you bring up the conversation, it's a religious war.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's going to change their mind or anything. So like, don't even do it. So if you eat meat, do meat. Just measure your biomarkers.
Right.
Yeah.
And the meat that we get is that also supposed to be tested, because meat is supposed to be pure, right? Like the whole appeal to meat is it's straight from the animal. There's nothing that goes on, at least if you're getting fresh meat.
Yeah.
But then are there also factors that could make
Yeah.
it?
I mean, let's like think about this. Like, what air is the animal breathing?
Yeah.
What grass is the animal consuming? And what's on that grass?
Were the animal's parents nice to him? growing up?
Yeah, there we go. What water was used to grow the grass?
Yeah.
You know, like you start thinking about that, and so if it's like it's like what comes in goes out,
Yeah.
and so in some ways, like it's a toxin accumulation machine.
Right.
So yeah, but the best thing, test it.
Yeah. But it's the same thing with vegetables as well, right? What soil was it grown in?
Yeah,
what
entirely.
kind of pesticides and
Yes.
fertilizers?
Exactly, all of it's true. Exactly. So just test it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like testing is, I think 99% of the human population won't be able to ever test their food,
Yeah.
at least in our like current timeline.
Yeah.
So like, are we all just like fucked? Or what is it?
Well,
like?
no. So the good news is like that we test our stuff,
Right.
And people buy our stuff because it's tested.
Mm.
And so other entrepreneurs are going to see that we're doing this, and they're going to say,
Let's get in
people
on
like
that.
to buy tested food. So like just by buying tested food, you're creating the market for others to do the same.
Yeah.
And then there's just a new standard. Like we all agree, food
Yeah.
is guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Like you pull up to a restaurant and you want them to post the lab results of their food. And like they don't have to do it themselves. Like the vendor they have, they just do like a large batch process of testing. Then all their different restaurants post their results. But just like when you buy a computer, like there's a spec sheet.
Yeah.
Like you know what you're getting. It's very clean and outline. But you buy food, we have no idea what we're getting.
Right.
We don't know nutritional value. We don't know toxins. Like we have no idea.
But then that way, like right now, like you said, you buy stuff and it has stuff like printed on it that this is how much nutrient it has, and you have to test it, and sometimes it's not accurate. So with this, how long until people start getting greedy and like capitalism kicks in? Like they start because they want good food, and then it turns into another thing, and then again the tested food isn't even
Yeah.
like properly tested.
Yeah.
Like that's
So
just a
That's what's
human.
happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
It's supposed to be tested food, but it's not properly tested.
Yeah.
And how do you get your protein?
So Talmage, what's your protein consumption right now? How many grams a day?
I'm aiming for between 130 to 170.
Yeah.
Not trying to overdo it, but enough to maintain muscle
How
growth.
much do you weigh?
172 pounds.
So 82
80.
kilograms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Thereabouts.
Okay.
Yeah, we primarily get it from plant-based sources. So I was talking about the Blueprint products. It's also Indian cuisine, so lentils as
Right.
well in a veggie curry. So we get it from lentils, hemp seeds, protein powder, chia seeds, broccoli, cauliflower. So
Chickpeas.
yeah, so a bunch of different sources that we can still get it from.
Yeah, the
Right.
one thing we do eat, which is not plant-based, is collagen peptides.
Collagen, yeah.
Okay. What does that do?
Yeah, it's an important for its ability to promote healthy hair, skin, joints.
Right.
Yeah, and it's something that you have to. Unfortunately, there's no other way to get it.
Is it something that you can supplement?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a few people trying to create a vegan source. They haven't gotten it. So we found one company doing a vegan collagen, but it's currently like 7 times more expensive than regular collagen. So they need to bring the cost down. So people are on their way to do vegan collagen, which that'd be great.
Right. And what is your exercise routine? Like, how important is that? Because we all hear that you need to work out and you need to exercise. Do you have a workout routine?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk
So-
about yours, because
You're like closer to. I mean, you're
No,
actually.
he's younger than us.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting.
Like what-
You're his younger brother, right?
Basically.
All right.
Yeah, people think we're gay couples sometimes.
No, that's legit.
Yeah.
It's legit. We go places and be like, so how do you get them together?
And then we just
Maybe they overheard you talking about erections. That's the reason why.
Like how many times? That's happened like 2 or 3 times.
it's a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
Like
Because
Three
I mean,
times
to
too
be
many.
fair, with
Yeah.
gay couples, it's like one is usually a bit older than the other
Yeah.
one, so it's like
Yeah, but we're the same age, so it's a bit different. Yeah. But like one small thing that we like to do together, so like the basics of strength, cardio, and flexibility. So one thing we do is by our house, we have a trail, and so it's about 5 kilometers long and
Right.
about 300 meters in elevation, and so we basically race it together. And so it's very rocky and it's very dangerous. So we're like walking this fine line of trying to get the fastest time while also not killing
Hurting
ourselves.
yourself.
Yeah, don't die. That's
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise for HIIT we do this something called the Norwegian 4x4 protocol, where you spend 4 minutes at basically 90 to 100% intensity on either a rowing machine or treadmill or cycling or elliptical, and then you spend 4 minutes resting, and then you repeat that cycle 4 times. And then there's also steady state training, zone 2 cardio, and then basic strength training that we do.
Yeah. So
And
you
how
could do
often
like,
is this?
The high intensity interval training is 2 to 3 times per week, and same for the steady state training, 2 to 3 times per week, and then strength training every day.
So you all work out every single day of the week.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we both work out roughly an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
We have a gym at the house, so yeah. And so like the things you want to work, like if you want to measure this stuff, so we always come back to measurement.
Yeah.
So look at your VO2 max. So that's the test where you wear the mask and you see the utilization of oxygen in your body, and you can just age score your VO2 max, right? Are you performing at the age of a 26-year-old at the 50th percentile or the 1st percentile, 99th? So you can use that. You can also use, you can look at your bone mineral density. You can look at your strength and your fat. So there's a few metrics of like how am I doing generally, and then you can cater more towards like do you want to work on your cardio more, your strength training more, flexibility more. Like we probably should have done this. Talmage and I do these 7 biological age tests. So it's like continuous push-ups, it's sit and reach, grip strength. But we give people 7 tests and it gives you a biological age. And so it's just like a good like intuition builder that at a certain age you're supposed to have a certain function, and you're either better than or worse than. So it gives you a nice baseline to play with.
We should try this, man. Like,
Yeah.
so that
We
know.
should have. I know we should have done this with you
We
guys.
should have
It's
done
fun.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Would have
should.
been a fun vlog.
Yeah.
There.
See how old all of us actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if I'm prepared to like.
No one is prepared
Because-
for this, so that
I
we
know.
get to
Yeah.
That's the
we
key,
find
that's the
out,
key.
Yeah.
What's your biological age?
So I have hundreds of biological ages. So like the cardio I just talked about, my VO2 max is top 1.5% of 18-year-olds.
Jesus.
So like elite 18-year-olds, I'm like even
Yeah.
at the top 1% of them. So like this is fun. Like Talmage's friends come over and we go do these activities, and like they strut like they think they're gonna roast, like gonna just crush me.
Huh.
They don't.
So what, do you race them? Like,
Yeah, I race
yeah.
them.
Okay.
And I
Is it
smoke.
100
I
meters?
smoke them.
Is it
No,
100 meters?
on this
No, no,
trail.
it's
On the trail?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
No, his friends show up and they're just like, this old guy.
Huh.
And he honestly just demolishes them. It's pretty sad, to be honest. Yeah.
I'd rethink my whole life, bro, if I lost like that.
You're gonna lose, pal.
See, that's the thing, because now we're 26 years old and we've gone through college, and college is like, that's when you go crazy.
Yes.
And so now to find out what my biological age is, I'd be sad to see that within those like 4
3,
or
4
5,
years.
5 years, how much have I aged then?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's when you're drinking a lot, you're
Exactly.
smoking, doing probably not sleeping at all.
Fun stuff.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
you
that's the
nailed
fun
it.
stuff.
Yep.
Exactly.
You're in college, right?
Yeah, I just finished my first year at
So
school.
how much fun are you having?
It's surprising. Like something as basic as wanting to go to bed on time and get good sleep is crazy to people.
Yeah, that's what. Like,
Yeah,
you
that
stay at
age.
college, like at or
Yeah, so
stay-
I stay within the dorm,
yeah.
and so for the first 2 quarters, I was religious about it, and then the third quarter, I wanted to try what it would be like to go to a frat party. So like I
Right.
slept earlier in the day to get enough sleep, and then I woke up at like 10 p.m. and I went with some friends, and I brought some extra virgin olive oil to the pregame. So most people are just getting drunk, and I'm pouring Evo into people's mouths and getting oil all over them. And then I go to this frat party, and all I smell is like
a
Sounds
dilly
like a
bar.
yeah. Like, it's the new thing. I'm not surprised in 10 years, everyone's going to have their own Evo bottle at pre-games.
I mean, olive oil is pretty good. That's another one
At a
of those
party.
things that you don't know if you're getting actual olive oil.
Yes, entirely.
Yeah, because I tried to switch and then I saw this video about it and I was like, okay, this
It's
is like,
most of it's fake.
yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we have some here. We could give you guys shots if you want.
Olive
Yeah.
oil
Let's
shots.
Olive oil
do it.
shots.
Yeah,
Let's
that'll
do
Yeah,
it.
be
some of the
lovely.
best, some of the
Fun
best in
thing
the
to
world.
We really grew up on this.
Yeah.
Wait, so you've never drank ever?
No.
Like, not once?
No, it's now at a point where I've tried it on vacation, like a little sip here and there, and I saw the effects that it had on my sleep.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's the big one.
Now it's more painful to me, the idea of doing it, because I know how I'll feel the next day.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to feel awful. I know my sleep numbers are going to be awful. My resting heart rate is going to go up. HRV is going to go down. My deep and REM sleep are just demolished.
Yeah.
So now it's more painful. Like I said, the food.
Yeah.
Now it's more painful to me to do
Is
it.
it because you just know too much now? You just know the
Exactly.
consequences.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Knowing is one thing, but like, how did you get him, or how did you start caring about these things? Because we knew a lot of these things too when we were doing it.
Yeah.
We knew
Yeah.
it ruins our sleep. We
Yeah.
knew it's bad for you. Like, alcohol is poison.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's legal poison that
It
you
is.
take in,
Yeah.
right? We knew all of these things, but like at that age, you don't care about it as much.
Mhm.
So what's
The
like,
discipline.
yeah.
Yeah, so we like to use this analogy sometimes, but when he was first teaching me how to swim, he basically Googled how to teach a kid to swim. And there are three options. One is he could go in the pool and then tell me to come in. The second option is he could push me in the pool and make me do it. And the third option is showing me my friends doing it.
Mhm.
And can you guess which one worked?
Did he
The
just push you
second.
in the...
No, it was the pool
It's
himself.
the first one.
No, it's the third.
Okay.
The
third.
friends.
Okay.
Right.
We want to do what our friends do. We want to feel socially accepted.
Hmm.
And so probably one of the biggest springboards for me getting into it was him building an environment in our home where we prioritized health. And so it's basically you are who you surround yourself with and what you surround yourself with. And so he built that environment. And so I basically adopted that and became that. And now when I go out into the world, I think everyone's crazy. I think he's the normal one.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's really not truth, these debaucherous behaviors. It's just the current social and cultural norms of our time.
Yeah.
I mean, see, this makes a lot of sense because if your health always has to be the thing that you care about the most. I think it's just that in our current society, there's so many things that you need to do so that you can even start caring about your health. Because if you've just been dealt a bad hand, especially in a country like India, you've been born into poverty, right? You can't care about health. There's only a certain limit up until which you can care. Other than that, there's like so many bigger things that you have to care about, which is very sad. But for a lot of people who aren't unfortunate, like, why isn't health the first thing that you care
Yeah.
about? Because now it's something that I've started thinking about a lot because I've started making money and I like life now. And I'm thinking about, okay, I want to live this life for as long as possible. And the only way to do that is to care about my health now.
Mhm.
So is that how it was for you as well? Because I know you made a lot of money
Yeah.
before you started
Yeah.
going on this
I
mission.
mean, what we're trying to do as a project is we're not trying to say that we want the individual to succeed, but we want more to society for society to succeed.
Yeah.
So like clean air should be a public good. Like nobody should have to breathe dirty air, rich or poor.
Yeah.
When you eat food, the food should be clean. Nobody should have to eat toxic food. When we go out and about, I would like to say, we don't want cultural norms that celebrates junk food, fried food. We don't want to drink at parties. So much of this stuff is within our power of changing norms. So even poor people would have access to reasonable health things. But right now, not only are they poor, they get pummeled with bad air, bad food. So just like it's awful. And so we're trying to say, like, as a species, like in every, like, this is how it's always been. Like, there's always been inequality in society. This has always happened. Like, nothing's changed over millennia. And what we're saying is, when you give birth to superintelligence, it's a different game as a species. Like, that old system no longer works. And the new system we're saying is that everybody achieves ideal health. Like, that's just default in society. We build systems so that everyone does that, because we play different games as a species. Like, we're evolving into something new. So that's what we're really saying is, like, we're not looking for exceptional individuals to prove their health metrics. We're saying, as a species, this is like the biggest picture for all of us.
Are you getting any pushback for all of this? Not just by people who see what you do, but like from anywhere else? Because I'm assuming when you start thinking about health and talking about health and trying to make people healthier, you're going to get pushback from like pharmaceutical companies and like healthcare systems. Is that happening?
It's most of the hate is from individuals.
Right.
Yeah, like when we were doing this experiment, and like I was blogging, putting this all, making this all public, and then it went viral. And I hadn't really thought through like what would people say, but it was this tsunami of hate. Everyone hated me, and I was like, wait, what? I don't understand. Like,
what sort of hate would you get?
oh God, like people, like they want to hurt me so bad. So like you can tell, like
physically,
uh,
or just
emotionally, they want to insult me. Like, so people spend like a spectacular amount of time coming up with the best possible insults, like absolutely ruthless. So let's talk about my appearance and like any vector they have. Like Talmage sees all these comments.
Yeah. One said he looked like a pale chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually, he posted a YouTube video where he basically reacted to tweets from people of
Yeah.
roasts. And the cool thing is that he loves it all. It's like whatever people say isn't truth. It's just a reflection of their internal demons.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
it's like a therapy session
Yeah.
for everyone. So
And sometimes they're creative with it, so you have to like.
You have to give it to them.
yeah,
They're
you have to
being
be like,
funny
okay, that
and
was
Yeah.
quite
that was
creative.
funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We say yes and everything.
Yeah.
We always jump in on the joke.
Yeah.
We always make fun of ourselves.
Yeah.
And then like people who do that, they're like, God damn it. Like, like I
Yeah.
wanted you to like
Yeah.
punch back and I wanted you to defend yourself.
Yeah.
But when you say yes and, they're kind of like, what do I do now? But yeah, like the hate has been like insane. And now we love it. Like if the hate dials down, we're like, where's it at? Like,
We want more.
We need some more.
Yeah.
But why do you think they hate? Like where is what do they hate on?
Yeah. Why do you think they hate?
It's probably because what you're suggesting, it's almost offensive. Like a lot of people, they take the meaning of their life to be indulging in their vices. So whatever it is of overeating, eating junk food, drinking alcohol, staying up late, and you're basically suggesting that you can take a different path. And when people say, oh, if I can't do these vices, then life is not worth living or it has no meaning.
Right.
So it's basically probing at what we value as most sacred, and especially people's perceived autonomy that they can choose what they want to do versus this idea of an algorithm where you don't choose what you eat.
Right.
And so it's like this underlying idea that you basically can no longer indulge in the thing that gives you happiness and meaning in life. And ironically, after being on Blueprint, both of us report back being the happiest that we've ever been. And now when we look back at our previous life of not caring about health, it's incredibly painful.
Right.
Do you think it's like a philosophical dilemma that people have when, let's say, you have this algorithm that's telling you, okay, you got to sleep at 10 p.m. every night. Just one day you feel like going out, or like a minor tweak in that, but you just can't because this is what the algorithm is telling me to do. How does that feel when something that you created is telling you you can't do this?
Yeah.
What is that feeling?
Because people naturally just don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if you so if you change that thought experiment a little bit, you say, let's imagine that sitting here right now is versions of you that are 27, 28, 29, 30, like up until 90 years old, right? So there's like 60 plus of you. Yeah, 50 plus of you.
Yeah.
And now we say to all of you, let's take a vote. Like, do you think that you should go out tonight and drink and smoke and stay up all night? Now, you may say, yep, I want to do it. But your 28-year-old self is going to be like, I don't think it's a good idea. And 29 is going to be like, probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Right? So like if you think of yourself as this continuous nature of like you, you're going to get outvoted by you.
Yeah. Me tomorrow morning.
You tomorrow morning, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah.
So like if you
Right.
just
I
twist
see.
it a little bit, like, but like we all feel that way. So
Yeah.
like why don't we live that way where all of ourselves, all time points of us always get a vote? Like why does me right now get the ultimate authority? It's kind of weird. Like, so that's the kind of norm that could change, that we'd be like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense.
But then it's like you don't even have to be that rigid with it. You're on this mission and you're trying to show the world that this is what is achievable, right? So you're going to be the best at this. But for me to live a good, healthy life, I don't even need to go as hard
Yeah.
as you.
Right.
I can probably still go out and drink once a month instead of going every weekend, or like going once in 2 months and indulging a bit every now and then and taking care of myself the other time. So it's not even that bold a claim that maybe you shouldn't drink all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
just
That's
seems like the sense.
alcoholism.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And for a lot of people, this isn't even the reality. The whole point of drinking or doing substances or doing any of these things is to alter your current state of
Yeah.
reality because you don't like your current
Where
state.
you are right now.
Yeah.
It's an
exactly.
escape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I don't get why like people are so. I think it's the idea of not dying that gets to people a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're like, how can you even be?
Yeah.
Because that's going against so many of our.
Yeah. Every fiber of our being is wired that way, right?
Yeah.
Since-
Yeah. So I think you guys just nailed these two beats. I think this is why people intuitively hate this idea so much.
Yeah.
Because we challenge the two most sacred ideas of human existence.
Yeah.
Okay. First idea is I get to decide what I want to do.
Yeah.
And basically what we're saying is if you look at the trajectory of technology, algorithms are reliably doing better most things we do. They navigate better than we do, right? They read medical imaging better than we do, right? They do so many things that are better than us. Eventually, they're going to be better at being us,
Yeah.
right? Better at mate
That's
selection,
scary.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So at some point in the very near future, we are all going to opt in. We're going to say yes to this because algorithms will do a better job at being us. And so that, of course, like when you're choosing a navigation app, it doesn't feel that way. You're just like, oh, it's cool. Or using a calculator, oh, it's cool. Like you follow that line of reasoning, eventually you land there. You're like, okay. And that challenges, like then people say, if I can't decide what I'm going to do, I don't know why I exist.
Yeah.
Right? They fall off the cliff. Now, it's not an existential worry. Like you can actually reason through it. It's fine. Like we can do that. But that's why it challenges. Number two is their entire life. Like Talmage is saying, they've assumed their entire life that they're going to die. Everyone before them has died. And so when that happens, you find ways to cope with death. Right? So you either say YOLO, like I'm only going to live life, I might as well enjoy myself, like I'm going to party and have fun.
Yeah.
Or you say I'm going to obey this religious doctrine because I get an afterlife. Or you say I'm going to have kids because kids are the best way. It's like we basically figure out ways to soothe ourselves with death cope. And so when you challenge them and say death is not inevitable, they don't understand existence. Because now they're like, I don't understand why I do anything I do. Like all of my previous thought processes have fallen apart. And that's why people they can't articulate it, but that's why they hate us. Because they're like, you've just robbed me of how I make sense of reality.
Yeah.
And now I don't understand what is going on.
Yeah. That is pretty scary. Like anyone that's like, going blind.
Yes,
You can't see your reality anymore
exactly.
in some way.
But to make sense of it, you just need to, I think, ask yourself just one more question after you have thought about all of this. And the question is, what is the point of this reality if it's filled with so much suffering? Right? Because if you're going to go about life throwing it away pretty much, not caring about your health, doing things because you only live once, you're going to live a life filled with suffering. And that's pointless too. Because these things aren't good for you. And they don't even feel good. It's an illusion which is very momentary. And that's, I think, the biggest problem of our generation that we chase like very
Perceived happiness, maybe.
perceived
Yeah.
happiness and
Constant.
quick fixes to everything
Yeah.
instead of just working on long-term solutions and working on being happy for as long as we can. It's just that how can I be happy in this moment?
Yeah.
And that's like scrolling.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you look at like some of, are you guys familiar with Ozempic?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the coolest things that's happened in a long time,
Mm-hmm.
because like hunger is a pretty like critical variable of our existence, right?
Yeah.
Like we feel hunger, and we eat, and we feel satiated, and then we feel hunger again. Like a few hours later, we do like we repeat this pleasure process
Yeah.
constantly. And with Ozempic, you just turn it off. Like that primary thing about being human and feeling hunger is just gone. And so we're now showing that with certain compounds, you can fundamentally alter our conscious experience. And so all these things, like when you bump up against a wall of like, oh, this is incomprehensible, the future is always incomprehensible. There's like, I understand we feel fear about that, but we are walking into a future where like it is incomprehensible, and it's okay.
Right.
Like we've always been okay. We'll figure it out.
So go.
Say.
Are there any negatives to doing something like altering your, I don't know, something that's been wired for centuries?
Yeah.
Like Ozempic. Is
Ozempic.
Ozempic bad?
Yeah.
I mean, it's complicated. It has a side effect profile. It has a lot of benefits, but also a lot of side effects. The newer versions are much better. So the drug's on a very fast improvement cycle. But just like all things, it cuts both ways. So it's not like it's a panacea, but it just proves a point that like when we think something is unsolvable in our minds, like we're at a cliff of existential despair, there's always a bridge to hope. Like we always find a path to hope.
Right.
So, yeah.
What about? Let's think of all the bad things that we do.
Hey, let's not.
And see how bad actually. No, so like vaping, for example. Vaping is supposed to be better than smoking. That's the appeal to it. That you used to smoke cigarettes, you can vape now, and
Right.
it's less bad. Is that true?
I wouldn't vape.
But if you're a smoker and your only other option is to vape,
Have
I
you
would.
ever smoked though?
No.
Have you ever drank alcohol?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you ever go on a bender? Ever? Like-
Yeah. Yeah. In high school, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even 10 years ago when I was like figuring
Not-
out life, I
yeah.
did a little bit.
Yeah.
you don't miss it.
No, like Talmage was saying, it
Yeah.
just is so painful.
Right.
It's not worth it.
I've heard you say you have this pill which is like red wine condensed into a pill,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
Yeah. So we do. We manufactured like 50,000 pills because we were basically making red wine in a pill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So does it give you like a high?
No, it's just all the good polyphenols.
Okay.
So it's like when they say a glass of wine is good, we got all the good stuff without the alcohol.
So it's like eating grapes.
Yeah, basically, yes, exactly.
Just
A ton of
grape.
grapes, like condensed into powder.
Wait, so the red wine pill doesn't have any alcohol in it?
No.
So it doesn't get you drunk at all.
No, exactly.
This is like that scene from
It's
the
from
Wolf of
Wolf
Wall.
of Wall Street.
Okay, let's go through your list. Like, let's go.
Okay, so
let's-
Yeah.
vaping really bad. Drinking is bad. What
else
about
do we
weed? Smoking weed.
I mean, it's like those things. They just don't. Like, if you're listing out the best things for you, none of them make the list.
Right.
So it's like, how bad is it? Is it like real bad, less bad, kind of bad? Like, I wouldn't say they make the cut.
But kind of bad is good.
Yeah.
In this situation.
We've got standards.
I've got an idea on a better way to do this. Bryan, why don't you list off some of the worst things that people can do, and you guys can go and say whether you do it or not.
Oh shit!
Right.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah, they're just exposing ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys? You go first,
Oh,
Talmage.
yeah. Okay. Do you guys go to bed on time?
No.
Guilty. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well,
You go to bed on time?
No, no. we
okay. So
don't.
what time? What time do you guys go to bed?
It's depends on the day we've had. Usually.
Yeah. On a
But
good day,
usually-
on a good day, it's like 1 a.m., 1 to 2 a.m. That's like a good.
What's a bad day?
bad day? Is like
6, 7 a.m.
6, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when we see the sun come up, we are like, hey,
Don't give us that reality check. when we
Okay,
go to sleep.
let's terrify them.
Okay. Okay.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to. I wanted.
Oh my God.
I wanted to talk
kinda
about
wanted
sleep.
This,
I
yeah.
Yeah.
feel like you're going to tell us to
It was
sleep
coming.
at 8.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna hurt a little bit.
Let's go.
Yeah. So we're gonna present a couple data points to give you context.
Yeah.
So, The first data point is one poor night of sleep, which is less than 4 hours. The strength of your immune system decreases by 400%. Just one single night.
Right.
So you are 4 times more likely to get sick with one night of poor sleep.
So when you say 4 hours, less than 4 hours, that means if I'm going to bed at 4 a.m. and I'm getting up at, say, 2, is that still a poor night of sleep? Because is the sleep supposed to be done in a certain window?
So it depends on the quality of your sleep. Like you can be in bed that long, but you need to look at things like amount of REM, the amount of deep,
Right.
how many times you were up. So it really depends on because once you get into deep sleep, it's that deep restorative sleep. The brain uses that to clean itself out and to repair. So you have to hit those certain metrics. Otherwise, it's hard to say. It's not always just time.
Yeah, because when I sleep really late and I get up late, I don't feel good.
Yes.
So it's not like I've slept for 8 hours
Exactly.
now, but I still wake up tired. So
Exactly.
I think there is a window in which you should get most of your sleep.
Yeah, there was a recent paper that said that people who don't get at least half their sleep before 4 a.m. have a 70% increased chance of diabetes. So there seems to be like some cutoff of you can be a night owl, but it seems like roughly around midnight is a
when
reasonable
you should call
time.
it a
Yeah,
night.
where you have to like lock in your first 4. But if you're in the 2, 3, 4, 5 category, it seems like you're doing night shifts. That's when it seems like it's into dangerous territory.
Right.
What else? How else is it
Okay.
destroying us?
you want
Yeah,
the,
so
the
the
next second point.
So the next one is so when people have a traumatic brain injury, that's bad. And one of the things that happens is a protein called S100B is flowing through your bloodstream. It passes the blood-brain barrier, and it gets into the brain, and that kills neurons. And so that's why a TBI is really bad. One bad night's sleep increases the protein of S100B, to the same levels of a traumatic brain injury.
Holy shit.
One night. And so you can measure this in your blood. You can do a blood draw and look at S100B and see your levels. And so it's between 2 and 100. You want to be exactly in the middle. Too low is not good. Too high is dangerous. And so if you can actually see right now, like how are your sleep patterns, you'll probably have elevated levels of S100B because you have this neurotoxin in your body that you're basically responding to this like brain injury-like situation.
So we're literally hitting ourselves in the head by
Exactly.
sleeping late.
It's literally a traumatic brain injury.
Running into a wall.
Yes,
Fucking
yes,
idiots.
yes. You guys got it. That was the connection.
Like every night, just
We choose to do this to ourselves.
each
Slap
night we're-
ourselves to sleep every night.
Yeah.
How can we fix this? Because it's gonna take a while to reset our sleep cycle. And
Yeah.
it's not like I haven't tried. I've been told to go to the gym so that you're tired, like you're a bit tired when you're going to sleep. I've tried melatonin, which helps, but
Yeah.
the long-term use isn't good. And now I'm trying magnesium and
Yeah.
zinc. I've heard that's supposed to help. So
Yeah. Well, you guys are lucky. We have a solution for you. Why don't you tell them how to do it?
For the sleep,
Yeah.
we have 5 things that you can do. And if you do them, then you will have the best sleep that you've ever had in your life.
Let's go.
It's better than any drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's like legit. This is the highest performing sleep protocol in the world.
okay.
So the first point is that each of you, every one of you, identify as a professional sleeper. So
Okay.
similar to how we have obligations for a job or a career or ambitions or what we want to do, we show up on time, we put forward our best foot.
Take it seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like how you wouldn't show up to a meeting late,
Yeah.
don't show up to your bedtime late. Treat it with this religious zeal that basically every night you go to bed on time. And so we've become a family of professional sleepers where now when 8:30 hits, we both run up to our rooms and we go to bed. We stop all conversations, all activities. Nothing beats sleep. And so the last time I woke him up was when I was 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like if there's a fire in the house, I got to solve it before I wake him up.
That's true.
Yeah. Just the first one is have an identity shift.
Right.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Next one is your last meal of the day. So if you go to bed at 10, you want to have your final meal of the day completed by 8 p.m. Even better, go 3 hours before 4 or 5. So my final meal of the day right now is 9 hours before my bedtime. So I go to bed at 8:30. My final meal of the day is around 11:30. So what happens is my body has time to digest all my food.
Right.
So by the time I'm going to bed, my body is done with that function, and now it's ready for sleep. So my resting heart rate has gone down to 44 beats per minute. It's just ready. And I know from hundreds of experiments, if my heart rate is 44 beats per minute, I'm guaranteed to have a perfect night's sleep. I'll get 2 hours of REM, 2 hours of deep. I'll fall asleep within 2 minutes. I'll sleep through the whole night. I'll wake up feeling amazing. If I eat 2 hours before bed, even that, and I eat something like a carb or I have alcohol or whatever, my heart rate increases to like 55 or 60, and it crushes my sleep.
Right.
It's disastrous. And so you can do this tonight when you go to bed. Do you have a wearable?
I'm going to get one.
Okay, so just look at your pulse. Take your pulse before you go to bed tonight and get a baseline. Okay, your heart rates will probably be in like the 50s, 60s.
Right.
And then for 5 days, eat 2, 3, 4, 5 hours before bed, like whatever you can do, and watch your heart rate drop. And as your heart rate drops, your sleep stats will improve. So last meal of the day, start with 2 hours and then push back, and you'll have dramatic improvement. So that's number 2.
You don't get hungry at night?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, but I now appreciate it so much because I associate the hunger with high-value sleep. Whereas I know when I feel full, like uncomfortably full, like
You're not gonna get sleep.
it's like going to be a nightmare night, right? Like tossing, turning, like it's going to be awful. So now I'm like banger,
Yeah.
And then point number 3 is lights. So as it gets closer to bedtime, you want to dim lights. And specifically, you want amber and red lights, so warmer on the warmer spectrum. So like these are examples of white lights that have blue emitting lights that you don't want close to the bed. So you want red lights and you want to avoid blue lights. So you can turn on filters on your phone or wear blue light blocking glasses.
Right.
But blue light can slow the production of melatonin, which helps you sleep. And so you basically want to minimize that. And so we have a red lamp in our house where after a certain time, there are no lights on in the house. I like to call it the Bryan effect.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone comes over, they just get tired so much sooner. Like everyone's falling asleep. So basically building an environment where you have dimmer lights, red light, it basically primes you so that you're ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So that's point number 3.
and no screens.
Yeah.
No baklava's alley.
Yeah,
Screens.
yeah. Or also like on our phones, you can turn. We have iPhones.
Yeah.
You can change it to a red tone.
Okay.
Well, I've been doing the blue light filter.
Yeah, cool.
but no, I didn't know about the red.
Yeah, so on your phone, you can just go to red settings, so you eliminate all blue. 4 is consistency. So if your bedtime's 10, you want to try to be in bed within 30 minutes. So 9:30 to 10:30. So so my credibility in doing this is I have the best sleep score in human history. I have 8 months of perfect sleep. And so basically nobody had demonstrated perfect sleep, right? Like, have you ever heard of it? Like,
No, what constitutes a perfect sleep?
using Whoop.
This is on the Whoop. It gives
Okay.
you a
Yeah.
percentage.
It's like a score. And so, I wanted to show that you can actually achieve high quality sleep every single night. So this is the systems we built. Like we tested so many things. And so in that situation, I was going to bed within 1 minute. So
You hit
That's
the
the-
bed and you're asleep.
yeah,
That's
so
the peak.
8:29, like Talmage, you can test this. Like it'd be 8:29. My body was keeping track of time better than like the clock. At 8:29, my body would be like, "Let's go, baby!"
Yeah.
Like I would just be crushed and like fall into the floor. So the point is the body, right? It's like,
Yeah, I had to carry him up.
it's like the body is so powerful at sleeping if you feed it the right conditions. Like if you give it consistency, if you give it the right lighting and the right food environment, the body is so good at sleep. Like you see babies, right?
Yeah.
They're so good at sleep. So we have the same power to be that good at sleep. You just need the right habits to support it. And so consistency, like the tighter you can make it, and you guys are great because like you have this house together, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
you guys can say like we as a group are going to commit to like a family of sleep.
Yeah.
We're all going to do the same things, and it's so much easier when you have friends. So yeah, consistency is like number 4.
And then the final one, number 5, which is arguably one of the most important, is have a wind down routine. So at 7:30, we basically both shut off our work minds, and we like to, as a way of separating ourselves, so we have different versions. So I could have ambitious Talmage or sleep Talmage. And so when 7:30 rolls around, ambitious Talmage is like, hey, I got this cool idea. You should do something about it. And then sleep Talmage says, hey, ambitious Talmage, thank you for the suggestion, but right now we are in sleep mode.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you get to the point where you hit your head on the pillow and you still have thoughts that are cycling,
Yeah.
you're going to cycle through them all night long.
Yeah.
And you're going to constantly be in light sleep. And so you won't have any deep, any REM, so you don't have any restorative sleep. So basically having at least an hour before bedtime
Right.
where you don't give any thoughts to any external factors, and basically say, we are only going to think about sleep. We're not going to think about anything else. And anything that we do have, we can worry about tomorrow. That's for morning Talmage. But right now, sleep Talmage is in charge. So almost separating yourself into different versions. So you basically have different roles that you can play. It's like role playing with yourself.
Yeah,
Mm.
it sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is.
how many hours a day do you guys sleep? Like if you sleep at 8:30, what time do you all usually wake up?
Typically around 4, 5.
Okay.
We both, I think his 6-month average is 8 hours, 34 minutes. Mine's about 8 hours, 25. So
That makes so much sense because most nights when I'm trying to fall asleep,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm coming up with ideas, which I'm happy about. But if I could wake up at 4:30, I would have enough time to
Exactly.
work on those ideas
Yeah.
anyway. So by the time
Mhm.
I'm done, like,
Yeah.
how many ideas are you gonna get in a day? Like you have. That's the thing with waking up late that I hate the most. You're always chasing your day,
Exactly. You get behind, it's
Yeah.
done.
Mm.
Yeah.
and then you're constantly working. And then no matter how much you work, it's not gonna get
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why, like,
So sorry, I cut you off. No, no.
Okay.
So that's what I was saying. That's why we end up staying up late because we've worked all day,
yes.
and now we wanna
Mhm.
hang out.
Yeah.
We wanna chill for
Exactly.
a bit. We wanna
Exactly.
wind down.
Yeah.
So that's when we end up staying even
Exactly.
later than
Mhm.
we want
Mhm.
to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I think the early bedtime is good because
Mhm.
like by the time you roll into like 8, 9, 10, 11, like shit just gets worse with
Yeah.
every passing minute, right? Like
Yeah.
like every minute that passes is a higher likelihood of like just bad stuff happening.
Mhm.
And so when you go to bed early, you basically eliminate that time where like debaucherous, your worst behaviors happen.
Yeah.
And then you wake up in the morning where you have all the time to get in front of your day and you're the most energetic self. So I love an early bedtime because that's so counterintuitive because most of culture happens late at night.
Exactly.
But when that happens, then you miss your windows, plus you're chasing the day, plus you feel awful. It's like no wonder everyone feels terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to say that your day starts when you go to bed.
Yeah.
Like the next day starts. Like it's the most important.
Yeah.
He felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys do for dates then? Do you guys not have date nights? Because usually dates only happen at night most of the times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do date nights look like?
We
for
do
the two
morning
of you?
dates. Like, yeah, we do our morning trail runs. We do morning raves. We've been doing these Don't Die Summits. We do a morning rave at 8 in the
A
morning.
morning rave.
Yeah, so we get a
That sounds
DJ
fun.
and we get after it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's like if you get both people, like we figured out how to do it successfully. So typically the problem is conflict of interest, where
Yeah.
you have one person who doesn't want to do it, one
Yeah.
person who does. And now we've both figured out how to do it together, and now it's way more fun than anything of going out late. So we figured out how to find our jam. So it's a matter
Yeah.
of alignment.
Yeah, so if you guys do those 5 habits, so professional identity, last meal of the day, consistency, light, and a wind down routine, you will have the best sleep of your life, like Talmage said, and you will feel better about life than you ever have in your entire life. You will be better podcasters, you will be better friends, you'll be better people, you'll have better ideas. Like it is just everything is better.
Yeah. I think it's definitely something to work towards, man.
Yeah. Human beings are so funny because you guys said all of these things and you told me that this will be one of the best things that you'll ever do in your life. And a lot of people are going to watch this and be like, nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that pizza
know.
at 3 a.m. is...
People are going to be watching this at 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
3 in the
exactly.
morning.
That's the ironic
While
part.
having a,
That's
always
while having
the
KFC.
Yep.
That's the most common comment on our YouTube is
Yeah.
like, great point, it's also 3 in the AM, and I'm eating a pizza.
Yeah.
But now this lifestyle of yours, does it come in the way of your relationships with other people? Like you, if you're seeing someone,
Mhm.
like I can't, this is just too much for me. Like I can't keep up with this. Has that been a...
Yeah, definitely. So right at the moment, right now, it is not normal to do it, and so obviously it rubs up against most people's expectations. But I think it's also, you could look at it through a different lens where it's almost a better mate selection process, where the person that you want to find is someone who is aligned with what you do.
It's a filter.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why we work together so well, is because we both have this objective, and so we're best friends.
Right.
We do everything together, and there's never any complaints. And so it's basically, in a way, like a nice filtration process. And eventually, we know that you don't need to have good relationships under the condition that you have to stay out late or engage in debaucherous behaviors. It's just what we currently do.
Yeah.
So it's not unreasonable to think that in the near future, in a couple of years' time now, it becomes the new norm to do it. And in fact, staying out late or engaging in these debaucherous behaviors makes relationships worse. So
If I was this wise at 18,
Right?
saved me a lot of heartache.
For sure, man.
Yeah, when I went on dates, I would present a list of 10 things. Like, here's 10 reasons why you're going to hate me.
That's a good way to start
Yeah.
the date, right?
Yeah.
See, this is where I'm at.
Exactly.
And,
'Cause, like, you're going to learn it in 3 months' time anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just cut to the chase. Like, so, yeah, the first one is I go to bed at 8:30,
Yeah.
right? Like, so,
It's a pretty big drop-off rate.
And how's that been working for you?
really well. I don't waste any
No,
time.
but-
That's cool,
straight
yeah.
to the point.
Yeah.
Point two. No, you've got these 10 things, and then now the good things. I have an erection of a 21.
2 hours 59 minutes to be precise.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a 5-pager.
Yeah, I mean, when I try to tell someone that, oh, maybe we should start sleeping early now, they're like, oh, you just want to change me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for the better,
Yeah.
woman.
yeah.
Get in bed. Sam, sleep.
How important is that for you, for a person to be sexually active? Like, is it really important, or is it something that it's good for you, but it's not necessary? Have you guys had the talk yet? Or is this
They talk about erections all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like, we're pretty unconventional. It'd be pretty weird for a dad to talk about their nighttime erections,
Yeah.
right? Period.
Yes.
It's another thing for the son to join in and be like,
Hey,
yes, and,
Dad.
yes, and, right? To yes, and the joke.
Yeah.
So he's just cool. He's funny. Like, he breaks these conventions of like where these lines. So,
Yeah.
it's just like so much of life is like identifying what is society telling you that is false. Right? There's all these limitations, like you can do this, you can't do this, but there's no good reasons.
Yeah.
But we just follow the rules.
yeah.
So we've tried to, like, as a father-son, be like, what are we restrained in doing that it just doesn't make any sense?
What do you think of nofap as a concept?
Yeah, I mean, so masturbation is great.
That's a first. I mean, you don't really hear people saying good things about masturbation very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah, it's either religious people saying it's bad, don't do it, like it's the devil's.
It's the devil's work.
It's the devil's hand.
Yeah, it's the devil. Wait, okay, there we go.
He turned
Yeah.
red.
He uses 2 hands.
No, but that's what I was asking. Like, how important is being sexually active, and
Yeah.
how does it
Help
factor
him,
into
yeah.
this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we humans eat, we have sex, we procreate. Like, it's a vital function. So yeah, I mean, it's like a pretty essential element. And like on the nighttime erections, like one of the terrifying things. So we didn't even get to the whole list of the terrifying things on sleep.
Yeah.
We have like 4 more for you, but
Yeah.
like one thing is if you get 4 hours of sleep or less, your nighttime erections are 0.
Damn.
Like
Okay.
it eliminates your sexual function because your body's like, okay, so we didn't get this key restorative thing. We're gonna shut down non-essential elements, like
Yeah.
and so the penis is working out every night, like engorging. You know, like there's like every time you sleep, like tonight, you guys probably know this. You wake up occasionally erect, right?
Yeah.
So
Sleeping less than 4 hours.
So wait, nighttime erections are an indicator of
your sexual health,
right,
physiological health, and cardiovascular health.
right.
So it's a really important biomarker. So on average, 3 to 5 erection episodes, and each erection lasts a certain duration, 20, 30, 40 minutes, and they're scored according to engorgement.
Right.
Females have the same erection cycles. So the clitoris engorges over these cycles, and women wake up with the morning bean, and men wake up with the morning wood. But both are going through the same arousal cycles every night.
Okay.
And so it's like use it or lose it. So I think masturbation is great. I would say like porn is kind of like weed maybe, and kind of like vaping, where it's like in some kind of gray zone.
I would say it's worse.
What's that?
I would say it's worse than
Yeah.
both.
So I would say like just get rid of it. Like
Yeah.
porn is just not a good situation. But yeah, I mean, like, pretty important to be sexually active, like for your body.
Right.
How often should you, for good health?
Yeah, I mean, if you do it for the team, like
Yeah, do it for the team.
I mean, yeah, like ideally, like 2 times a week. Like that would be reasonable with like how busy people are, and like that'd be minimum.
Right.
You could also look at it where when you want to work out or be jacked, like it's important to work out and get heavy weights.
Right.
It's almost like having sex is as equally of an important workout. Like
Right.
you want to be able to go in the gym. Like it's like working out after a poor night of sleep. It's going to be so much harder. You're going to be so much weaker versus having good sleep before sex.
Right.
You want to like be in there.
Yeah.
Like, you,
Be ready.
you want to be like top performer.
You gotta
So-
get that gold medal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Now you're stealing the patterns.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fix them, man.
Yeah.
Is there a ranking system for this as well? Like, how do you know?
I think they tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, I was gonna bring a device. So
Wait,
damn it,
what?
for erection measurement. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Oh, man.
I was gonna give you guys one.
So you can just all share
Just
it
one
together.
among the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pass it around.
It's just a small. It's just we brought 10. So our friend has them right now. It's like a cube, like a centimeter cubed. You put it on the shaft of the penis at the base,
Right.
and when you put it on, you forget about it. Like you think it's gonna be a big deal, it's not. And then in the morning, you get a report of how many you had, the duration, the strength.
That's
You get scored.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a whoop for your.
Exactly, it is. It is a move for penis. Yeah, yeah. So like, there's this betting market, poly market.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one. So poly market just emerged as a really important market in the U.S. Betting on all kinds of things. They're launching this week a prediction market on my erections.
That is so cool.
So people can now
Bet on your erection.
They can
people
bet on
now
how many you'll
bet.
have.
Yeah, so they're going to bet on whether I exceed or I'm less than a certain number of my erection time. But like, I'm so proud of this because like this thing has crossed a cultural zeitgeist
Yeah.
where there is now a public market betting on my erections.
These are the most degenerate gamblers on this planet, I would say.
And people are like sabotaging me like the night before measurement, like give them some some whiskey.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey dick.
Yeah,
Slip 'em
and
some
whiskey
wine.
is real, right?
Yeah, whiskey dick's real.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now that we know you, like, we could make some real money off
Yeah,
of
that's
this.
what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
So is it timing or the number?
The
Of
total.
times.
Yeah.
No, let's tell us later so that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off
Public
camera, so we
like
can also bet and
insider-
make some
yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Insider trading.
Yeah.
But that is actually like one of the reasons that it was a wake up call for me personally. Now this is maybe TMI, but I had started waking up with, sometimes I'd wake up with no erections and I
Yeah.
would be like, that's crazy. Because
Yeah.
I'm like 20, this was when I was like 25.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is too early. And then I started reading on testosterone and
Yeah.
how important that is.
Yeah.
And then I figured working out, eating protein, that's just going to increase it. And I was like, see, if this is something that you don't mess with. Like,
Yeah.
if this is going bad, you're going to have a pretty
Exactly.
sad life. So
Yeah.
I was
I'm-
like, let's hit the gym.
I'm so happy you shared that. That like it's not TMI. It's actually courageous of you. Like this is a thing that's real, right? Like
Yeah.
25 years old, like you should be having epic erections,
Yeah.
and you wake up and they're gone. And it's like what's happening?
Yeah.
So like gets to the heart of everything it means to be human, right? It's representation of your sleep,
Yeah.
a representation of your work, of your career, of your stress, of like your diet, of your muscle. Like it is the focal point. So I love that. Like I love that you shared that, and it's like you can like change meaningful way. Did they come back with your changes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even your sex drive. You can feel it dropping.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's the weekend and everyone wants to go out. They're like, let's go meet some woman. And they were just like, no, forget
Yeah.
about that. I don't
Yeah,
want to do it. I'm like, why? Why? What's happened? Like, what's
Yeah.
gone wrong here?
Yeah.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's a
Cool.
lot of people, though. And maybe they don't think about it as much, but it is very important.
Yeah.
How important is testosterone? Like, your testosterone
Yeah.
levels being good? Because I know you do TRT.
No, I only did it for 6 months.
Okay, you stopped.
Yeah, we only did it because I was on a deep caloric restriction. There was the idea that if I was deeply caloric restricted, I would be lower on
Sorry,
testosterone.
what was that word? I didn't.
Oh, caloric restriction. So like there's this idea in longevity is if you eat fewer calories, the body it responds with a greater lifespan. And so normal for someone like me is 2,500 a day. And so I was doing 1,950. So I was like 600 below-ish. And so when you're doing that, I lost a ton of weight and got very skinny. And so I was on TRT just for a few months to offset that. But then after we stopped doing that, we went back up to 2,250 calories, which solved it. And so, yeah, my testosterone is 900 right now. So it's like upper range of good. But yeah, testosterone is really important. Like if that's off, like other things are off.
Right. TRT is testosterone replacement therapy for
Oh, yeah.
people who don't know, because here it's not that common
Yeah.
yet.
Yeah, it's not.
People don't talk
Yeah.
about it as much.
Yeah.
Would you recommend that for people who get older? Like, do you think TRT is
Yeah, I mean,
something that you should do?
it's definitely an option. I think the first line of defense always is getting the basics right. Like get your sleep right, get exercise right, get diet right, try to lessen environmental toxins, like first line of response, and then hit it. But we typically don't recommend using supplements or other things to address concerns before you have the basics mastered. Like try to address it with habit, and then take that as a second line of defense.
Is this all kinds of supplements? Like
Everything.
whey protein, for example. Like, does that also come under that? Because
I put whey protein on just like a normal protein consumption.
okay,
Yeah, like yeah, that's like a food category for me.
right. Because there's a lot of debate about that also. Over here, at least, people say, like parents usually, they're like, oh, don't take this protein stuff. It's bad for you.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true, though.
Yeah, I mean, so like I'm plant-based and I do caloric restriction, so I eat 2,250 calories. And I only do 130 grams of protein a day, which is low. Like most guys are like 200, 250, like they push very high, especially in the US. And yet my muscle mass is top 1% optimal. So is my strength in strength tests. And so is my cardiovascular abilities. Like my metrics are all like absolute top notch. And so we're proving that you can actually be an athletic performing person with high muscle mass on a plant-based diet, 130 grams of protein, and caloric restriction.
Were you a healthy guy before all of this? Not at all. Like, not. I'm asking like genetically. Were you?
Oh, no. I mean, like, I was an entrepreneur. Like, you guys are grinding.
Yeah.
You're building your business, right? And
Yeah.
you're grinding.
Yeah.
I was doing the same. So really hard, and I had depression for a decade. That sucked. So like my health was in a really bad spot. So that's why I think what we've accomplished is so cool, is that I went from a really bad place of health to number 1 in the world in 4 years. And so it shows that the body can bounce back really hard. So anybody can do this, and we've open sourced everything. So we share everything we do, so others can do it. Like the body is remarkably resilient. So I thought it was really cool to see that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't have to be number 1 in the world. Like, not for us. We don't even have to aim that high.
Yeah,
Like, even if we're halfway there, that's still pretty
exactly.
great. And I mean, we've made peace with living up to like 90, maybe, if we're lucky.
Yeah,
So if we do actually make it till then, that's a good life for us.
yeah.
You are trying to push these boundaries. Do you really think that you would? Do you think you will? How old do you think you will be?
Yeah.
What's the age?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I genuinely believe we may be the first generation to not die, like legit. Like if you just simply, I don't know how closely you would pay attention to AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
We do. I
we
mean,
do, but
to the extent of how can we use it within our like line of work. To that
Yeah.
extent, like we're up to date.
Yeah. So if you just like a lot of my friends are in OpenAI and Anthropic, like the big firms developing it, like it is unfathomable how fast it's moving. And of course, nobody can predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you increase intelligence and that intelligence increases intelligence to make more intelligence, like we're on this curve.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it is mind bending where we're at as a species. And I think any idea we have of the world has no credence anymore. Like we're off on a new territory. So I legit, like if you just look at the speed of progress in AI, I think it's entirely irrational for the first time in human history to say we may not die.
Right.
Every other time it'd be like, that's stupid talk, that's clown
Yeah.
talk, like that's not even serious. It's only in the past like 2 or 3 years you could legit say that.
But now that you're running so many experiments on yourself, aren't you afraid that maybe one of these will like go wrong? And
Has something ever gone wrong with any of your experiments?
Yeah. So I have my phone.
Yeah.
is it the face thing?
Yeah.
We've seen the picture.
Yeah. That one went wrong. I had allergic reaction.
Yeah, you were melting.
Oh yeah.
He was swollen and then.
Yeah. But like if you think about it, so I am doing experiments, but so are you. When you guys go to bed late at night, you're experimenting.
Yeah.
When you drink, you're experimenting. When you eat food out in the streets, you're experimenting. Like everyone's experimenting all the time.
Yeah.
True.
So I think my experimentation is actually safer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in a
Right.
calculated environment.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the most expensive experiment you've done yet?
It's all the measurement. Like getting the measurement is expensive.
Mhm.
So like I've been in an MRI over 100 hours.
Over 100 hours.
Yeah, it's like an
That's
insane
so
amount.
claustrophobic. Like
Not at once.
I know, not at once.
Yeah.
I know it's not at once, but it's quite this thing.
Yeah, measurement's really hard.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. So the therapies are actually low cost. Like all the stuff we do, like the red light therapy is low cost. We started hyperbaric oxygen therapy, that's low cost. The protocol is really low cost. It's just really the science team and the measurement.
You brought up therapy. You do all these things for your body. What are you doing something like? Do you go to therapy? Do you speak to someone? Is that how big a factor is that
Yeah.
in aging?
Yeah, so Talmage and I talk about this all the time. Like I think you asked me like, what'd you ask me about my trauma?
It's like, do you process your trauma through Blueprint?
Or through you or something.
Oh yeah. It's like, do you project all of your unresolved conflicts onto me?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Right? Which is like, I do probably.
It's like what all parents do. It's
Yeah.
like
Right.
True.
Yeah.
like
It
the
could
big-
happen, right? Yeah. There's
Yeah.
No, all
It
parents
happens
do
all
that.
the time. Yeah.
In microdosing or
Yeah.
through the way of life.
It's like
Parents
It's
do
like a
tend
bit
to
of
do that.
trauma every now and then.
Yeah.
Trauma dump.
Trauma dump.
yeah, it's like kids are the second chance of starting
living.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I'd say like he's probably been my therapist more than anyone else.
Right.
Because like he's a mirror to my own behaviors and but yeah, I don't see a therapist. Not to say I couldn't benefit from one, but like my mind has cleared up so much from just doing really good being healthy. Like once you're healthy, things are kind of just okay. Like they just kind of work their way out. A lot of the depression, the anxiety, the other stuff comes from just bad health practices. People do have legit things like PTSD and other stuff like that,
Right.
which legit. But yeah, I just found like most of my mental challenges just cleared up with good health.
Even when you were going through your depression phase, did you never see any therapists?
I tried.
And how was that?
It never worked. Like I could never connect in a meaningful way. Like, I never felt like I made progress in conversation. And maybe it was me, maybe it was them. I don't know. But it didn't work for me.
It's tricky because sometimes you just need to talk to someone, and I think that therapy helps with that.
Yeah.
Like I've been a couple of times, and the times that I just went and I got it off my mind, I wanted to talk to a stranger about it. I didn't
Yeah.
want to talk to a friend, and it helped. But while you're doing that as well, I couldn't get rid of the idea that I'm paying her to sit here and listen
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
This is like a transaction.
Yeah.
So if you can't block that out, it's very difficult to
Yeah.
like sit there and
It's very funny when you have to like pay them money at the end of the
Yeah.
session.
Thanks
Yeah.
for
You're like
listening.
just paying them.
Yeah. I mean, you saw a therapist. Was that helpful for you?
I had a similar idea where it's like you go through the thing, you try it out, and then after like, okay, so it's $200. You know,
Yeah.
you basically give it to them. So like I understand how it can feel transactional, but sometimes I like to draw a parallel. Let's say you have a football coach, soccer coach, and they get paid to coach the
Right.
team.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't care about the players. Like
Right.
they do care about the players. They want to see the success, but they're also getting paid.
Yeah.
So, like, it may feel transactional, but at the same time, it may not necessarily be
Yeah.
mutually exclusive.
Yeah, I don't think I've been long enough to
Mhm.
form a connection, and the person also, maybe they didn't have enough time to show that they care
Hmm.
through therapy.
From the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like any of you have had a good therapist.
We're doing it here. This is
this is therapy
This is
for us.
I
therapy.
think we do this so that we
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to do therapy, but
Yeah.
maybe that's not the best thing.
No, but that's true. This podcast is a bit of a,
Yeah.
And often,
it's a bit therapeutic
It is.
for us,
Mm-hmm.
because for us to sit down here and talk to you guys, like, this is very new for us, and it's, like I said, we haven't done stuff like this before, and 4 years ago, if you would have told me that we'd be sitting here talking to you, that'd be like, that's
Mhm.
crazy talk like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does help, and we have found that it makes our lives better.
Yeah.
hmm
Because I'm sure the things that we spoke about today, we are going to implement at least some of it in our lives as much
Yeah.
as we can, and that's great. Like I'm really grateful
Yeah.
for this.
Thank you so much for all the.
Is there anything else you
Yeah.
want to talk about? Is there anything you want to
Uh,
ask us, or?
So I think I'll leave you guys with this, that like, this is legit the coolest time to be alive in the history of the human race. It's like epic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we're giving birth to super intelligence. We have no idea what's around the corner. It could be like the most fantastic experience in this part of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you guys are like right in the middle of it. And so it's just like such a cool time to be alive. And so I would invite you guys to like fully internalize that and embrace it and be a light in the world. Like, we need to win as a species. This is not like a single player game.
Yeah.
So like, going to bed on time, weirdly, is changing the world.
Yeah.
Right? We're basically saying we respect and appreciate our consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to spend it away in a frivolous manner. We're not going to be silly with our health and wellness. Like, we have this body, it's fragile, and I'm not going to be foolish with it.
Right.
And the more of us that can do that, like, we can change the world. Like, our goal is that 1 billion of us would be engaged with Don't Die by 2027. That this would be the largest ideology in the entire world. That we say yes to life, that we're not going to kill each other anymore, we're not going to kill ourselves, we're not going to kill the planet. It's like, that's the goal, is like, it's the fastest growing, biggest ideology ever. And like, we as a species lock in, we're like, yeah, like, existence is the highest virtue. Like, that's what we respect the most, is just be able to be alive. So I hope you guys, will say yes, like, in these habits, and like, form it as a group. I think it's cool. And yeah.
I really believe in that. It's something that I've found myself thinking about quite a bit too, that I like the world. There's a lot of bad things in the world, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's
It's the only one we have.
Yeah,
one we have,
that's
and
right.
I like this life, and I think I have enough control in my life to do good things. I've been dealt a pretty good hand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah.
I've had a good childhood. I've had nice parents. I don't have much trauma, and I'm in control. And I think if I play my cards right, I can have a very fulfilling life, and that's something that drives me on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And getting to talk to people like you, who are giving us so much hope, and for us just to see even the relationship that you two have, it was like really nice to see,
Yeah.
because that's something for us to maybe work towards, because we're 26 now. Maybe in a couple of years we'll have kids of our own, and to see that this is possible and you can
Yeah.
have such a nice friendship between your kids, that's something that like we can think about and work towards.
Yeah, it's cool.
I have one question. So you spoke about AI taking over, so to speak, a lot of the things that we are not as good at. and that's going to make life simpler. But what do you think the purpose is? Then what will the purpose of human life be? Do you have an idea? Do you have an estimation of where we're headed in that direction?
Yeah. So the thought experiment I use for that is traveling back in time. So go back to an ancestor of ours, Homo erectus. They were upright and they had an axe. That was their technology. And so if you interview Homo erectus, like if we invite them on a podcast and we're like, hey, we're gonna have a chat about the future of existence. Tell us, like what are you excited about? Like, what do you think we'll be doing in the future? Homo erectus, independent of their ability to want to say anything intelligent, would have nothing to say about the microscopic world of atoms and molecules. They wouldn't be able to talk about about black holes. They wouldn't be able to talk about the electromagnetic spectra, about quantum mechanics, about space flight, about the internet, about phones, about antibiotics. And so Homo erectus has no model of reality to articulate anything about the future. They can't tell you what the meaning-making games are going to be. They can't tell you why to live. Like they would just simply say like, we're going to hunt more, we're going to forage more, we're going to like walk around more, we're going to kill the tribes more, like whatever they do. And so in this situation, I think the wisest answer we can say is we have no idea. Like we don't have models of reality. We don't know. We can't see. And I know that's unnerving because when humans encounter unknowing space, we want to fill it so quickly. Like, I want to model this and predict this, and I want to tell you what the world's going to be. But this is the first time in history where we cannot see the future in one generation. Over Homo erectus, like their lifetime, the patterns change so slowly. Like, and that's true. Like even when I went to school, when I was 20 years old, I could choose a career, a major, identify what I was going to do in my profession, and then retire. Whereas like Talmage, like he can't even know what to study 2 years from now to be relevant in the job force. Nobody has any idea what jobs will be available in 2 years. So we can't even see 2 years in front of our face. And so it's kind of silly talk for any human on planet Earth right now to say anything about the future. We just can't see it. And so in that state, like I think we humans always figure out a way. Like we always find new games to play. We always find hope. We always find new reasons to exist. Like we're gonna solve that. Like we're very good at that. The key is we just can't mess it up, and we can't kill ourselves. We can't have AI kill us. We can't kill the planet. Like we have to just stop our self-destructive behaviors. And that's what we're really like. Everything in this conversation is about stopping self-destructive behaviors. Right? Personally, societally, and then we need to build it into AI. Like that's who we are as a species. Is we don't do destructive stuff to ourselves and to others, to the planet. And so
just stay alive because there's good things coming.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a great answer.
Just don't die, like your T-shirt.
Yeah, it's like that easy.
It's that easy.
That easy.
I mean, we'll try our best, I think, after this conversation. Is there anything you want to add before we go?
I think what's cool about you guys is that you guys are all doing this together. And so one of the hardest things about health is that it feels lonely.
Right.
And so it's cool that you guys basically have this group of you and you're friends, you're also colleagues, you work together. And so it's basically the ideal situation to help each other. It's like you guys push each other to become better versions of yourself. You want each other to be better. You want to be better. And so it's a perfect way of building this into your culture and your way of going about life, that you prioritize things like this. And then eventually you guys will basically feel, like we said with the sleep, you'll feel so much better about life. You'll be better podcasters. You'll be better friends. And so the most important thing is like having the support structure that you guys have each other is amazing. So thanks for having us on. This was such a fun conversation with you guys.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah.
By the way, any of you also noticed the change in the air quality? Like, I just feel lighter and better and slightly happier. And also, I sort of had a cold going, but no sniffles, nothing.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting.
We're gonna need one
I
of these.
forgot what's her name, but Deborah.
Deborah.
Thank you for getting Deborah along.
Have an Indian name.
Yeah. Get like 3 of these and put them in every room in the house.
Yeah.
We'll need like 6.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yes.
What's your tattoo about? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's 5-MeO DMT. It's a psychedelic.
It's a DMT. That's
Yeah.
why.
DMT?
Yeah, this is the granddaddy of all
structure of
psychedelics.
Wait, I
Yeah.
think we should keep going.
That's why I asked. I wanted to bring it up because I thought that was the DMT structure.
Yeah,
And that's the
good
reason
job.
why I asked you.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
What
What was your DMT experience like?
When and then what? When did you?
Yeah, when did
Yeah.
you do DMT?
It was like maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it was the coolest experience of my entire life,
Mm-hmm.
like without question. And so like if you're born as a baby, and it's like, okay, what kind of conscious experiences is that baby gonna have? And it's like, well, that baby's gonna like learn how to do things. They're gonna get insulted and by the kids. They're gonna like learn how to fall in love. They're gonna have heartbreak. They're gonna have accomplishment in profession. They're going to have depression and anxiety. Like there's like a mapping of experiences, and then you like introduce 5-MeO DMT into the situation, and like explodes reality, like into this dimensional space, which is like it breaks your brain on how big existence could be. And so when I did that, I was like, oh my god, like consciousness is so big,
Yeah.
and we experience such a small fraction of it.
Right.
And there's so much excited so many reasons to be excited about the cool thing is like how, if you pose the question 200 years ago, like how big is existence? Or like 1,000 years ago, right? They wouldn't be able to tell you that it goes down to quarks,
Yeah.
right? Or it goes as big as the entire universe or black holes.
Yeah.
And so over time, existence has just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. We found out that it's actually bigger than we imagined.
Yeah.
And so now we're onto this stage of like exploring how big is intelligence and consciousness.
Right.
That's why it's so cool to be alive. And so like this was a good example for me of like there's no way I can tell Talmage through words this experience. Like
Yeah.
it's
You
totally
can't
not
describe your trip.
So that's why I think is like we could literally be like on the cusp of becoming gods.
Mm.
Like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
like all the ideas we ascribe to God, like why would they not be literal things we could actually embody?
Mm.
And so it's like so cool to like be
Yeah.
right in the cusp and
Yeah.
that we get to experience that. And so yeah, there's a good example of so it's the only tattoo I have on my body. Just like it's such a guiding light for me.
Is DMT the chemical that's secreted when you have a near-death
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah. So this one's 5-MeO. It's from the Sonorian toad.
Okay.
So
Okay,
a
so
toad down
did you like lick the toad, or how did you?
Yeah, you take
did?
you take the liquid and it crystallizes.
Okay.
So you can do a synthetic version or a real, and I had the real. Yeah, you inhale it. It's just
Okay.
one big puff,
Mm-hmm.
and then they only give you two. They give you one set of instructions. They say you either say yes or you say no,
Okay.
because it comes in like a freight train,
Mm-hmm.
and if you freak out, and you're like no, then you have like this
Bad-
awful
yeah.
experience.
You just accept it and
Yeah, you accept and just be like, let's go. And if you can go, then you can ride it.
Where did you do this? Where?
Yeah,
Where?
outside the country.
Wherever it was legal.
Exactly.
What was the time duration? Like you were out, I don't know.
It's
where
20
you were.
minutes.
20
but
minutes?
It's a
but it
very
feels-
short trip.
But it feels like hours.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. People describe it as having different lives in that
Yeah.
one 20
Exactly.
minute
Exactly.
experience.
So I want Talmage to experience all these psychedelics.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to do them until he's 25, when his
Yeah,
brain's
that's
finished
the-
developing.
Fully developed.
Yeah.
But man, like, I can't wait. It's just like going to break his reality. And like,
Yeah.
even though we say this, he doesn't understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty excited for him to experience psychedelics.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is
Wherever we can legally do it.
Another good thing to do
Yeah.
at some point wherever
Yeah.
it's legal.
yeah. Okay. I think that was
Yeah.
again. Thank you again for
Yeah,
doing
thanks,
this.
guys.
Thank you
and,
so much
like,
for
I
doing
had a
this.
lot of fun, and I took away a lot from this conversation. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you so much for coming.
Let's go.
Cool, guys. That was fun. That was fun.